Homeowners across lower West Michigan are surveying damage today from last night's severe storms and tornadoes for the first time in the light of day. Storm Team 8 captured what's left of a barn where we believe a tornado touched down in Martin. It's damage like this the National Weather Service will analyze over the next few days to confirm the tornado. Meteorologist Matt Kirkwood talked to the owners of a barn about what they experienced last night.
Severe thunderstorms raked West Michigan last night, and this is one of the reasons why we're on air for so long during these warnings, especially potential tornado warnings. You can hear the chainsaws behind me, the cleanup going on. I'm just west of Martin right now at a horse farm that the complete roof was blown off, the walls were taken out. 10 horses were in this barn, but fortunately all of them survived. But you can see all the damage and all that material strewn out in this field behind me, at least over a quarter of a mile right to that tree line. And the owner is very thankful that no one was injured and the horses survived.
The Martin area was the epicenter of some of the worst damage. Bill Holden describes the moments that led up to it.
We were watching Storm Team 8 and we thought things had settled down. We had not seen any, very little rain, no wind whatsoever, and then it ended up all of a sudden kicked up. We got the alerts, and then at that time it was here. It was here.
Martin was just one of many West Michigan communities hit hard last night with no less than 30 separate severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings.
After a severe weather event like this, the question always remains, was it straight line winds? Was it tornadic damage? So the National Weather Service has a lot of work to do, and they're going to do that in many site surveys today. When we find out what they find out, we'll certainly let you know. I'm meteorologist Matt Kirkwood, just west of Martin, Michigan.
The damage from last night's storms wasn't just limited to that tornado in Martin. The storm itself produced tornado-strength gusts across West Michigan. We have Cameron James and Kyle Mitchell live, where we're continuing to get reports of damage. And meteorologist Scott Larson is tracking another line of storms that could present a risk of severe weather tonight. Let's start with Cam in Holland, one of the communities that got hit first by last night's storm.
Brittany, long before the sun came up this morning, this neighborhood just north of Lake Macatawa in West Holland was bustling with activity. Road crews hard at work, inching their way along Post Avenue, trying to clear the way, and neighbors briefly peeking outside to assess the damage before sunrise. Now, this is an area of West Holland known as Waukazu Woods, and it sustained some of the worst damage we've seen in the area. Large oak and beech trees, many feet in diameter, are toppled over, blocking roadways, crushing cars, and destroying houses. We've worked our way to the back of the neighborhood this morning and found 4 houses on a cul-de-sac completely ravaged by dozens of fallen trees. One resident we spoke to said she grabbed her kids from the top floor where their bedrooms were just seconds before disaster.
When the impact, it sounded like a bomb. It was very loud, explosive. We heard glass shattering everywhere. Right after the huge noise, then we started immediately feeling rain and water in our basement, and it was flooding all over the ground, so we knew it was quite bad.
Bad, becoming worse as one of those fallen trees snapped a gas line near the front of their yard. Neighbors tell me the smell was overpowering and spread quickly. Those in the surrounding area evacuated to other welcoming neighbors' houses while they waited for emergency response.
I mean, we could smell it. The whole neighborhood could smell it. Didn't really know how dangerous it was. Like,
the concentration of it, or
we were concerned about the electricity coming back on, and at what concentration is it flammable? I don't know.
Now, I'm told crews were able to fix that gas leak within about an hour after it happened. Neighbors telling me that afterwards, emergency crews going door to door to check on people, making sure everyone is okay. Luckily, everyone was. No injuries reported from this neighborhood. But now the task becomes moving forward. I spoke to one neighbor who said his wife has a terminal illness and they have to find a place for her to stay today as they don't have power. So the process of rebuilding and restoring starts now. For now, live in downtown Holland, I'm Cameron James, News 8.
All right, thanks so much, Cameron. I want to get to Scott Larson in the tracking center. You're tracking the potential for another round of storms tonight. Now, the risk is much lower than we faced last night, but when exactly could these next storms hit?
That's right, Brittany. It looks like the time frame is going to be very narrow, similar to last night when we had team coverage in the tracking center for the duration of that event. You'd see that squall line, that quasi-linear convective system, as it's called, was able to rip across West Michigan very quickly last night. We did have, of course, some tornado spin-ups, which the National Weather Service is going to continue to evaluate those damaging straight-line winds. There isn't quite as much energy available for tonight's storms, but even still, there is a small risk that we see some damaging winds once again. Here's some of the peak wind gusts from last night: 76 in Battle Creek, 66 Kalamazoo, 61 miles per hour in Norton Shores, Grand Rapids, and also Muskegon, and topping 50 miles per hour in several other locations. There's the view in South Haven now. We have sunny skies with us, and the afternoon is going to be fairly pleasant. We should expect to see temperatures rise into the lower and middle 80s, likely one of our warmest days of 2025 so far. But then as we turn our attention to tonight, you can see that we do have that marginal risk of severe weather. So again, it's not quite as extreme as last night. We had a level 3 out of 5 and an enhanced risk. This has been reduced down to a level 1. So there is that potential of seeing a few strong storms occur. But again, the ingredients aren't quite as formidable for those storms to be able to unleash their potential. Let's get a look at the risk area that we expect then. Damaging winds, I think, are going to be the primary issue if those storms are able to maximize their potential. Some gusts exceeding 40 miles per hour. Could be a little bit of hail also. Again, a very short time window for those storms to occur, mainly between 8 o'clock tonight and midnight. As we transition into the weekend, it'll become much cooler. I'll have details on that coming up in a few minutes. Brittany?
All right, thanks, Scott. The storms left more than 250,000 homes and businesses without power across our state. At this point, there are still more than 186,000 customers in the dark. Most of them are here in West Michigan, as you can see by the consumer's outage map. You can see Grand Rapids and areas north were largely spared, but the lakeshore in the southern counties were certainly not. Consumers Energy operators have dispatched about 500 crews to help get that power back on. They've been working ever since the storm subsided in the early morning hours. And we're joined by consumer spokesperson Matt Johnson for an update on how those crews are doing. And Matt, it's been a busy morning for you and those crews. What has the biggest obstacle been right now?
Hey, Brittany. Well, yeah, thanks for having us. You know, first of all, we just want to express our patience to our customers who are waiting right now to get their power back on, and let them know that we're working diligently to restore power as quickly and safely as we can. You know, the idea that there could be more severe weather tonight certainly could delay that progress a little bit, unfortunately, as obviously our crews need to be able to restore power safely. But the good news is right now, with the sun out, you know, and the weather is cooperating today, we're out there, we're working hard to get those lines, you know, restored, the poles restored, and to get the lights back on as soon as possible. We have, as you mentioned, those 500 crews that are out there working, both Consumers Energy and contractor crews that we brought in to help. They were pre-staged in some of the areas that we expected might be the hardest hit, so they were able to get out there and respond even quicker. And so, again, we just appreciate people's patience as we work to safely get the lights back on.
Yeah, and so that damage is obviously very widespread. How do you think that could impact restoration times?
So we have service centers throughout the state, okay, that are always prepared and ready to respond in each geographic area. So, you know, we have our Grand Rapids Service Center who services this area here. We also have a service center in Kalamazoo and Lansing. So all over the state, we have, you know, crews ready and stationed. So, you know, getting materials out there ahead of time helps us to restore power quicker. So if we can stage trucks and have mobile command centers available, which we do now in Battle Creek and in Portage, that really helps us to get materials to our crews faster to restore power more safely and quickly.
Well, Matt, we appreciate the work that you and all those crews are doing. I'm sure they're going to be busy over the next couple of days, but thank you for all you guys do.
Yes, thank you.
And these widespread power outages have forced more than a dozen school districts to call off class today. Because we're heading into the weekend, there's hope that will give crews enough time to restore power by Monday so kids can get back to class, but it's not a guarantee. Kyle Mitchell is live in Kalamazoo where kids are staying home today. Kyle, what are you seeing there now?
Brittany, we're on West Dutton Street between South Park and South Rose. Take a look at this tree. This is blocking West Dutton Street, so nobody's able to get through. This fell on top of a minivan. You can see some of the windows were blown out. There's still a branch on top of the hood. This is right near Dutton Street Park. There's even a few trees off in the distance, one kind of near the swing set, but it looks like the swing set was spared. But a lot of damage here throughout this whole area. We saw quite a few trees down, and even power lines too. There's one kind of off in the distance. We're keeping our distance just for safety reasons, of course, but there's a power line right there kind of going through the middle of the road. Several barricades, a lot of caution tape throughout this area. We're kind of near in the Vine neighborhood area of Kalamazoo, just a little bit south of Bronson Park. But quite a few tree limbs down, crews in this area trying to restore power. I talked to a neighbor here who says they haven't really seen any power crews yet on this street. I know we saw some driving around, working some other areas kind of off in the distance, but it's going to be a little while. There are a lot of big trees down. It's going to take those crews time to get here, to get that power restored. So make sure you keep your distance and be aware that a lot of these roads in Kalamazoo may be blocked. So reporting live from Kalamazoo, Kyle Mitchell, News 8.
All right, thanks for that update, Kyle. We will continue to follow the impact of last night's storms throughout our newscast today, as well as online and on Wood TV Plus. And be sure to send in any photos or videos you have of last night's storms or the damage they left behind.